Game is going to be, Dave. We're back with Miramar. Only get to see it 4 times over the entirety of this weekend. So for those teams who do tend to favor this map, now's their time to shine.
That's a truth right there. Just like what Jason said, we're looking mad fine. Another truth right there. So we'll see. Yesterday, Miramar, I'm trying to think back. I think we had a couple early game kind of skirmishes, but for the most part, early game, really quiet. And we were kind of talking about it that with Miramar, with the zones being, so much terrain to really deal with, that you get to truly take in like the different strategies that these squads like to implement in their gameplay. For example, the edge play, or teams that like to drop real quick, go center. It's really exaggerated here on this map. And just, kind of thinking today as a whole, like, what strategy, because that's always a question, like, what strategy is the best, edge or center? For me, there's no real answer to it. Yeah, they both have pros and cons. Like, if you go center early, you're in a hot spot to get crashed on, or you're on edge, you don't get favored in the circle. That's also a risk. So we'll see. Considering this zone, nobody's even in it. Nobody.
I mean, this was a low, west-east southern plane path, and this is a hard north shift circle. These back-to-back games, Dave. The Circle Gods were kind on day number 1. Here on day number 2, they are angry. And I agree, there's no real answer. We saw a lot of teams play edge for a very long time, and then it was all about the early rotates, get a compound, play center. But I feel like as Vikendi got phased out of the map set, that was one of the maps that really exemplified that play style. We called it like the breach meta, where it was all about breaking into people's compounds. That's shifted a little bit, again, since it's no longer in the pool. So because of that, I think teams are starting to favor both. And honestly, I see teams playing both and making both work. I actually think this is probably, in that regard, the healthiest the meta has looked so far. Both strategies are absolutely viable.
Yeah, definitely situational. Like we saw Team Queso, they attempted to make a crash pull up and they got wiped. Didn't work out. And we saw like Clash, they played edge. They get favored because of the edge play and they get a chicken dinner, right? So there's definitely extremes for both. And looking over here, Sandro, this is risky. a solo.
Yeah.
Following a squad that you have to assume they are aware of because they saw each other's parachutes. And Sandro, no weapon in hand. So fortunate for them, they will be alive. And just talking big picture, the zone, and really which team is appreciating the magnitude of circle number 1, it has to be Destiny. All 4 members already in vehicles, all 4 members already sending it to a somewhat center position, which I think is huge. It's definitely a heads-up play, because on the flip end, we got Konita Power down south, not moving, just looting. We got RTG down south, not moving. I really, truly feel like those teams are going to have the biggest struggle here this game.
Especially because of the way the terrain works. There's a lot of awkward mountainous areas, both in the center, on the east and west. There's only a couple of really, I don't want to say viable, but routes you're not afraid to take going quick in a vehicle that aren't like super treacherous. And because of that, they're going to create these sort of natural funnels and choke points as teams do rotate up from the south. So because of that, because of their option to rotate in late, they are objectively going to be out of it positionally. The way they're figuring if they can counter that is if they can spend enough time to loot up now, they can get utility, get lots of meds, get all the vehicles, and they're going to have that to sort of counterbalance their lack of positional power, let's say. They're going to try and balance it out with the utility, which isn't the worst decision ever, but we'll see how it plays out.
We'll see. There's a lot of possibilities here, especially early game. Yep, this is that Konita Power position we were talking about. You have to assume, like, you're going to have a safe looting phase, which is always a plus. Like, it's always good to not have to risk it and, be on your P's and Q's and super aware. The thing is, like you said, the choke points, they're going to be occupied here very shortly for multiple teams. Team Queso, UDR, even Chavez up there. Yep. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting. By the way, I just leveled up in real life. Not a flex, but Daddy, Drop the follow on the IG, son. So, hey,
All right.
hey, I'm just saying, Paul. All right.
Just saying. He heard you. He heard you. He's hearing the praise you're sending his way.
There you go.
And because of that, I want to see more. I want to see more from Loco Nostra. This is
Trying to get a
one that I
follow.
think has a lot of potential. I don't really use Instagram, but that's okay. If I did, that's 100%.
I follow you on Instagram. Yeah, I see your cooking photos.
Occasionally, I do like to cook up some food. These players that cook grenades. I cook stews on occasion. I'm gonna try my hand at making some more like I got ramen last night. Now I want to try making ramen. Things are happening, Dave. Not in this match, but just in general, because it's been very quiet to start things off. No real surprise as we segue right back around.
There you go.
Perfectly done. Nobody even
Perfect.
noticed.
And then
Perfectly
segue
done.
back out, Paul.
Okay.
Paul likes to cook ramen, likes to play the guitar.
Yeah, there you
Drop a
go.
follow. And segueing back in. All right. 19E. Hacienda. I like it. Froz not picking that team to win this game. So that's a good sign, because yesterday represented Canada. Okay, consistent day, in my opinion, for 19E.
I mean, they came into today in third place. They were looking in a pretty good spot. That last one was obviously pretty rough, but I 100% blame it on the fact that they just made one of the worst rotational decisions I've ever seen, and they just stayed out on the water for way too long. They had a lot of teams looking at them. They're not going to make that call this time. They're doing the complete opposite strat. They are not going to wait. They are not split looting like we have, the influence of Shifan on this team. We're not seeing that. They are going in early. They're grouping together. They're taking over Hacienda. And Dave, they're going to be not alone as I just look over my map and Ghost is joining them.
Both, USA, Ghost Gaming, Canada, 19E, they're like magnets. A lot of the games, like they're always just next to each other, taking the same pathways and forced to kind of clash, especially in the early game here. And see a couple shots get taken out over there onto Acer, but Acer able to pop behind there and keep these nice golden Marauder tires safe for the time being.
And I think I was thinking about this because I noticed it yesterday as well, and it's been true today. I think part of the reason why is because these are both two extremely veteran, experienced, high-level North American squads. They look and approach the game in very similar ways. They have compounds that they favor, they have rotations that they favor based on the meta that's developed in North America. So it makes sense to me that they'd be moving in roughly the same patterns with the same thought processes because it's been honed and refined in the same sphere. So it does make a lot of sense. We'll keep an eye on that as those teams continue to clash like we're seeing Godsent doing right now, looking towards the UDR Killers who, Dave, this squad, they love the high ground. They love getting up on that high ground.
That's their bread and butter. The eagle eye in the sky, and you can't hate it. But right now, we do see them somewhat separated here on the edge, and they don't want to separate too much here early game Miramar because we already see them. You're going to have to deal with two different teams, and that's when it gets a little risky. And yeah, we already see it not coming on out. We saw last game highlight plays from Focus. Clutching it with the UMP, but you're not going to be able to pull that off if you're trying to make that jump on that ramp by yourself.
Yeah, that is not a great position to be in right there. And of course, Pocus getting dropped. That play we saw in that last game, absolutely sick. We know this player can go off, but you have to be in a position to make those plays. You have to set yourself up for that success. As we're seeing the circle shifting in now, a lot of squads going from some crazy wide wraps in order to try and circumvent those choke points I was talking about. But Dave, we still see it right outside of San Martin. That is exactly one of the areas that I was looking towards. It is congested. Looks like the one-on-one here in Los Angeles. Not a good time.
It's similar to what we saw last game. Like all these teams that have the challenge of rotating into the zone, they look to offset that by going for the wide rotates. But the thing is, like, there's so many. Exactly. There's so many teams that are doing the same thing, trying to play safe. Sometimes the most obvious answer, just sending it straight in, is the easiest. And I think they're going to learn that very quickly, considering this is the second game in a row that we're kind of seeing a similar pattern when it comes to those wide rotates.
Like, I thought La Bandita was going to get congested. I thought Minas Generalis was going to be where we're going to start to see this. Instead, everybody bypassed. Oh, no. Well, there was an attempt. Was he trying a suicide there? Yeah. And normally you drop the first one, so that way you confirm you're down, and then you... Okay, well. Awesome.
think it's just like a battery check. You know, the phone might have been running a little low, so you got to plug that bad boy in. So, you know.
Gotta be using a OnePlus. What are you doing, buddy? That's on you.
Ultra fast.
65-watt charging, ultra fast, 10 minutes. I blame. That's on you, man. That's on you.
It's crazy. Like, I got a OnePlus, and I plug it in. It's like at 5%. I look back 5 minutes later, 90%. I'm like, okay, I can game again. Okay, I like that.
I gotta get me one of those.
I
gotta get me one of those. I'm using outdated tech over here. I gotta switch things up.
Yeah.
Just like Konita Power's going to switch up their game plan here on this one, as they've already lost 2 players. Not ideal. Way out on the outside. They will be in a position in this next circle. Not a good one, but one position. A position.
Honestly, though, big fan of Konita Power. They've been slaying it today, but I like that Guns finally getting some points on the board, because if you recall the pre-show yesterday, I was like, Guns, top 5, easy. Like, they're so aggressive, right? Recently, because looking back at Guns, when we look at the EMEA Championship, they got 2nd place, and they had a low kills, high placement point strategy. And then I watched the scrims, they kind of corrected it. They had a 50-50 split between those placement points and those kills, which is beautiful. Like, that is what I want to see. But looking at this, like, that was scripts. It doesn't matter. This is what matters when it comes to the overall leaderboard. And they're in 13th position. I would have never guessed. I would put all my UC on the line. I would have never guessed they would be that low.
And it's so interesting. You're talking about placement points versus kill points. And you're right, oftentimes the best teams have a near 50-50 split. When we look at the teams up at the top right now, Next Street Gaming, Konita Power, Destiny, Alpha 7, the top 4, almost dead even, or in some cases even slightly higher split in terms of kill points. But it drops off a cliff when you get out of the top 4. Those teams being able to frag out, making a huge difference. I need to see Guns start to add that to their arsenal. It's in the name. I need to see it in the play.
Yeah, it's all about that 50-50. But I guess you could say the same for a couple other teams down at the bottom, like Ghost Gaming, Seven's favorite team.
I mean, it is 50-50, but half of 38 is not a lot. So that's the problem there.
Yeah, not the 50-50 you were looking for here. So
not ideal.
Not ideal. We'll see, though. Hey, after today, though, 50% done. And we're talking 50-50. So they still have time. They definitely still have time to make that comeback. And talking about the zone, 50-50 once again, well, it favored San Martin. That's what you were looking at earlier.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of teams down here, but that top of the hill outside of San Martin itself to the southwest is still open. Precarious spot long-term if it shifts away from you, but an immediate power position as teams moving in from water treatment as well. The high ground, you can see 19 Esports looking to breach that, going back into Hacienda El Patron, which they previously occupied. Needed to take it from Godsend and Chivas, though. 19E, potentially a bit of a rough spot. There is a compound there for them to own. I would like to see them take that here, not overextend. We've seen them do that before, but Godsend, Chivas, they're in stellar spots, Dave.
And I love that visual that we saw on the mini-map. Like, we see everybody already in vehicles. The circle pop, those vehicles are already moving. It's like a nice little wave going back and forth. Everybody trying to reposition. And for the most part, every single squad has 4 or 3 vehicles to work with, which is huge, because if they are showing up late, maybe that compound's going to be taken. They have the option, and I love this all the time. We see it time and time again. They have the option to build their own cover. So important. That compound, it might be taken, but just pull up, blow up that vehicle, bada bang, there you go. You got that hard cover you were looking for in the first place. So everybody on the Great Migration, as a lot of people like to put it right now.
Surprising, as I say, this shot's being fired, but a surprisingly low amount of action. This is almost like the OG Miramar that we were used to, where it was very, very slow. Still 60 players, 6-0 in this game right now. All 16 teams still up and alive, and we are almost 15 minutes into this game. Team Case are going to try and take over this vehicle as well. Theirs looking a little worse for wear. The tire is popped. They're going to try and make this one happen, and I'm glad you're pointing out some little things here, Dave, like with the vehicles moving in the rotations. I got to give also some shout-outs to our observer team, the hands-down best observer team for PUBG Mobile in the world, helping us to catch all these sick plays just like this. Absolutely stellar job. Don't get enough love. Got to give them a shout-out here, bringing you guys all of this amazing action as the circle is just about to recenter back up. San Martin, Hacienda right in play. Who can get these opening frags, Dave, to pave the path towards this next zone?
Shout out to the real ones. Put some hearts in the chat right now. Some hearts in the chat. So, Team Queso, a duo, a buggy. UDR, you called it earlier. They love their high ground positions, and looks like that duo, they're going to be stuck right between, but they are going to be in the zone on a plus side of things. Conina Power, ooh, nice little zone. Nice little circle for them as they have that town to themselves, and the circle shift. That's San Martin. That huge hill.
That hill.
No one took it yet, and you know
that's so risky. But now it's a must. If you're Ghost down on the bottom, you've got to take it now. This is absolutely huge for them. You can see them heading up the hill. They're going for it. They gotta. This is massive, Dave. Because the issue with that cliff is if you're stuck up there, you can get absolutely shut out. But if you can own it, if you can control it, if it's in the zone, disgusting.
We're going to have like an urban combat finish. I got a feeling in my bones right now. So it's exciting because if a team can successfully crash into one of these buildings and kind of just take it for that cover for the time being, that's a win. That's a win because there's a high chance that the next circle will go on the city and center on up. So we see a lot of teams up here to the north. I'm counting like 6 or 7 teams all trying to just do that and just find a building that they can safely make it into.
Yeah, and Next Street Gaming's doing a good job of splitting themselves up here, trying to find all these angles, able to take out 2 members of 19 Esports who did get split. Shifan once again in that duo situation where, frankly, he performs the best, so I'm not counting them out yet. As Loca Nostra has also taken a lot of punishment. Sway just did so much work there. Destiny, a little bit quiet so far today, Dave, but I would not be surprised if this is the map where they start to put some more kills on the board.
It needs to be if they want to take back the first place that they had at the end of yesterday. So talking about 50-50 a little more, there's like a 50% chance that it goes north of the road or south of the road. And Ghost Gaming, they rotated very early on, but RTG right behind them, going to be taking them down. And hey, looking at my favorite player, Daddy, Loca Nostra, right here, taking some long-range shots all the way up here towards that north. But this is a beautiful visual. The city. Oh, yeah. All the players, like, it is congested.
It is indeed urban warfare, and also on the cliffs as well. Spec, oh, this position. Oh, my goodness. I'm choking over here. Spec certainly not. He absolutely crushed that fight, got up on the rooftop, made it look easy. Oh, my, Dave, that was dope.
249, man. And 249 world spawn. I'm telling you, it changed competitive. It truly did. We see it a lot here. And Destiny, we were talking about a couple moments ago. They're looking for a big game to reclaim that first place spot. Chivas right in front of them.
Keeping an eye on this. Destiny still stuck on the outside. Chivas is in a really good position here. They're going to bring Fran in with the smoke, not leaving anything to chance. Fran has been such a powerhouse member of this team. You just can't afford to lose him at this point. They do have a great position. It's going to come down to a flank here, but a potential third party could spell disaster for Destiny, but they're getting all the way around as Team Case is getting eliminated as well. I'm almost got a little bit worried though, Dave, because Chivas is like stuck in this building. While it's a benefit to them, it could actually be a bit of a curse because now they've let themselves get flanked. They are going to let Destiny swing around them here. Rahad is the only thing, oddly enough, keeping them safe.
Pretty much. And those smokes that we see kind of blocking those sightlines for Chivas, that's going to allow Destiny to just freely rotate to their heart's desire without truly getting punished. And next circle. All right. Sending it to the city, baby. We are having We're having the best end zones here today, Paul. Like, today has been something else for these zones. So we'll see how everybody can handle it. 14 teams still left. And I have my fingers crossed that all 14 could make it into next zone alive. That would be amazing.
That would be unreal. You said it was a 50-50, and you called for urban combat, the CQB. That's what we're going to see. As now Chivas are bursting out of this compound, looking to take on over. They've got this little bit of the hill to defilade. The Destiny ended up giving up when they rotated on through. They split themselves out, but it also opened the cage which now means that Chivas can unleash that rage, looking to take themselves a position moving into this next zone. But they have a ways to go, and Godsent, the squad that was playing Protector, is now going to be defending this path into the next zone.
We'll see. We're getting the YOLO crash. Let's be real. The smokes are going to be blocking those sidelines to allow the closing of the gap, but they are right on top of each other. Mihi popping on over with the spray Fran with the return molly. This is madness.
And Chivas is just not stopping. Dave Nito gets it done. That Molotov to force them back out behind their cover. Absolutely stellar. And Chivas Esports, when we talk about killer instinct, when we talk about snap decision making, when we talk about commitment in PUBG Mobile, it's that play right there. All four players together, no hesitation, no backing down, full send, get it done, get the points, get in the zone. Let's go.
That was it. Yeah, that was it. And that's truly represents Mexico, and they should be proud with that play right there. And talk about trying to represent. Well, we got Egypt strolling on up right now. Godsent Nuggets cooking this grenade, tossing that grenade, and it's good.
Oh. Nice play there from Nuggets. Looking to just thread their way in there with that one, as we can see the roll-up happening once again. Chivas is continuing to keep up the pressure that they exerted before. They've taken a lot of damage in the process, though. Need to try and stop and heal and reset, because there were previously, and there still are, two teams in this next building, one on the roof, and Raad is here in the main part of this warehouse. And whoever wins this fight, Dave, controls the entire northern part of the circle. This is a huge fight to win.
Really solid position to have, and Chivas just rolling up. They could be on the outskirts of the compound. They need to make sure not to get taken out right here. Nuggets trying to heal up from Godsent inside, kind of just stuck in an unlucky situation, and here comes the push.
Does indeed. There's some shots coming on the outside, though. Potential third party as Nuggets is just trying to hold on and survive. Done some work with the nades before, but Chivas is relentless, moving together as a squad, listening for the footsteps, trying to get the pinch, and are able to do so. And just like that, Raad is done. Chivas was hunting them.
Let's go Mexico. 7 kills right now, just in time as well. The next zone does pop, so they are going to need to clear out all these rooms if they don't want to get backstabbed. Fortunate for them, I believe they have that truck. Yeah, they should have 2 vehicles, so if they really want to just YOLO, they could. They could also use the city terrain to their advantage to try to navigate across that road. Hopefully they have some smokes to make a little smoke tunnel. But Chivas, I'm loving it, this game. Like, they are aggressive. 7 points so far. It's looking good.
And they're a team that needed it too. They had a really good, not great, but a really good day number 1. They're currently sitting in 6th place going into this match. So a big kill, maybe a chicken dinner, or at least a top 3 would do a whole lot for this team here, as Clash is going for the desperation send, and Onyx needs to try a little bit harder, as Onyx with 3 kills, all 4 players alive. Hey, Dave.
Hey.
We asked for it.
The rooftop campers right now for Onyx, and I'm not even mad. I'm liking it a lot. They're going to be right there on the edge. Hopefully they can capitalize on their high ground visuals from up there, because we're going to have a lot of players just trying to avoid the sight lines through these windows and just survive. Smoke, utility, we talked about it yesterday. Utility is going to be crucial if you want to come out on top this game. Oh!
You just saw it exemplified there. Oh, big nade coming from Alpha 7. Absolutely massive. Mafios doing some work, as Godsent's going to get eliminated as well. Ghost trying to push their way in with that smoke like you talked about before. 19 Esports still able to survive through all of this. Tensa just barely surviving this wall, doing so much work for them here as they're just trying to clash once again. North America battles amongst themselves to determine who will represent this region. Oh me, oh my. As here comes the push into the compound. Tensa's got the big gun though, and at close range, you know how scary he can be.
A boy gun spray down. M249 coming out of clutch right there. Almost lost it against that UMP. UMP is so strong now. 1v1. Looks like both USA and Canada gonna opt to get that reset, that revive on their squad mate. And honestly, Ghost, you're on the first story. 19E, you're on the second story. You could pump the brakes. You could relax for the time being. And
Dave, he went for the first aid. He didn't.
Oh no!
Bayo bled out.
And here comes Fran from Mexico. Okay.
All of NA is getting involved. I like this.
Okay.
I mean, this. This feels fitting.
I don't know. I think I would have got the pickup right there. Not gonna lie. But it happens. We'll see.
He does. I think he was worried about getting pushed, which is not an
unusual.
a bad thought. Yeah, not a bad thought to have. But now, of course, all of North America in this one building on the edge of the circle, they do have to move. None of them are in this next zone. And I'm getting quiet, Dave, because I want to let this game speak for itself, because it's about to get very, very, very loud. As here comes Chivas on the outside to G-Fan, you got it.
Fran! Yes!
Mexico comes out on top. There you go.
And you know what? I think Tenta pulled off because they heard the footsteps and the indicators. And like you said, they might have thought it was 19E, but in reality, it was Fran rolling up from behind. So that's probably why they pulled off that revive. Perfect sense right there. So, top 6. This is the game. Onyx, the hype train, the chicken dinner that you need. This is it. They have the position and they have 4 alive.
And Guns is here too. Another team that you identified is needing to do the work. All 4 players alive. Dave, these teams who have not performed yet have been given an opportunity to prove what they can do here, as the cross on the road is Real Freak is going to draw. Next Ria Gaming is going to say no to that one. So not all 4 up yet. Still making it across with 3. Konina Power. Alpha 7 is here as well. Onyx looking to get involved. The only team with all 4 left alive. This is absolutely massive here for the team from Georgia.
Yeah, just don't die, Onyx, right now. Don't die. Let everybody else fight each other. Just hope that the next zone favors your compound. That would be huge. That'd be great. Fran, though, that's solo from Mexico on the mission right here. On a mission, rolling up to that compound. 1v3.
I mean, he's done it before. Fran will continue to deliver these big plays. We've seen it so far in the last 2 days. I don't expect it to stop anytime soon. Getting up on the high ground, though, but this is a very exposed position. Oh, my goodness. There are a couple different areas where it could potentially get shot from, but it's the play you've got to make, Dave. I don't hate it.
Wow. Yeah, talk about making a play. You're going to be exposed, but at least you don't have to run into a trio underneath you. And you're right there on the edge. Right there. And the thing is, this is kind of smart because Onyx, they're going to be occupied. Oh, frozen. Okay. Onyx, they're going to be occupied with Alpha 7, so they can't really look over here. But frozen. Oh, a little too thirsty right there.
Waiting for it. I can see Alpha 7 looking at him. And this is giving Fran an opportunity to potentially change their fate right here. I like the fact that Fran's just playing it out. This is 100% the right call. Nerves of steel, though. What a beast. As Onyx is continuing to put up the pressure. Alpha 7 as well. Guns needs to be careful, though. But that nade looks pretty good.
Onyx, get that pickup. Throw out some smokes, maybe. Block those window sight lines. That would be big. And here we go. Fran, the revenge, the backstab from behind. Taking those shots, but third-partied.
Just like that, there were 5 teams. Chivas Esports will get eliminated. Great little run there from Fran. Bucanita Power came in to put it to an end. As we're seeing now, the circle continuing to center up, favoring Onyx here, as well as Guns a little bit. But Alpha 7, the last 2 players left. Dave, we know how strong this team can be with just 2 left alive. They are a powerhouse in the server as Guns gets eliminated. Big nade comes out as well from Next Ria Gaming. That is a massive down to Konina Power. This gives them the opportunity to continue to push into the next compound, try to take a little bit more real estate. Does they want to push around this angle, give them another option of which to fight against Alpha 7, because trying to go head-to-head into this next building is not a great option, because Onyx is here as well. The second you try and overextend, over peak, Onyx will shoot you straight on. That's the only option.
As well. Dead center. Okay, Revo, the last one up right there. This might be the opportunity for Onyx to make the push across the road. 7 kills so far, 4 alive. Numbers advantage. It is in their favor. There we go. Top 2 situation.
Absolutely massive. As it all, well, there's still 1 player left. There's still just the one from Alpha 7. Oh, there they go. Top 2 situation, Dave. You can see into the future. I can't help it. You're a Jedi.
Gotta pick up 9. Get the pickup here. Frozen, being alive, big concern right now. 3 times MVP from the region. Big concern right now if I am an Onyx fan. Somewhat of a standoff. The much needed time to get the revives, the resets, the meds, get that HP bar up, if you still have those meds, of course. We're gonna see those smokes get deployed right there. That's gonna be just hit fire city out here.
It is indeed. And a lot of meds still. Looking pretty good here for Team Onyx. They've been able to take smart fights on their own terms, and with a big Molotov to start things off with the nade. Oh, that's huge! The double knock. This is the opportunity that Onyx needs. They're pushing it together, blind firing through the smoke. There's only one player left alive. It all comes down to this. Can Nihat get it done in a 1v3 situation? It all comes down to this final push. They're going to pinch him up against the blue, or are they going to send it? Onyx just needs to survive. Goes into the corner. He finds one. Can he get the second? He's trying to get every single kill point that he can. The last man standing. Can he survive? He does, but he finally goes down.